Hop on in here, buddy. Mike Agerbo here with John Biehler, still recovering from Las Vegas last week. I've got the Las Vegas cough. I don't know how to make it go away,
And I'm
other than
cold.
other than drink more. I guess maybe that makes it go away. We've got a fun show for you today here on the app program. We're going to be talking about the folding revolution. We saw all kinds of folding mobile devices, and we're going to be talking about laptops and phones and tablets. There is a truckload of these devices coming out beginning this year that I think will change, how we use these devices and how we carry them around.
It's really interesting to see how this has evolved just in the last 6 months or so, even
Yeah.
as companies get better at figuring out this technology and finding innovative ways to use it too.
It's interesting because what really interested me at CES was the folding laptops. We'll talk more about this later in the program, but uh, I want one now. Like it has changed the way I think about using a laptop. We will also be talking about cell phone plans and an interesting one from Google uh, called Google Fi. You picked up one of these SIM cards in a vending machine in the Las Vegas airport, and these aren't available in Canada, but if you can go across the border and get one of these, it is freaking amazing. And we'll tell you how cheap this is. So if you're a traveler, this is the SIM card to get because of the convenience and the price and how cheap the data is if you're roaming. Because I go traveling a lot in the US, and we're doing a lot more international travel for the show. And it must I'm looking at the bills, the roaming bills. I know the carriers have brought the price down, but then they jack them up again. It's costing me thousands of dollars.
Well, it's really nice too that a lot of the newer phones now have support for either eSIMs or dual SIMs.
Yeah,
So you can have your regular one for the office at home
yeah,
and also have this roaming package in a separate slot.
it's brilliant. We will also be talking about some smartphone rumors. Samsung and Huawei are rumored to be bringing out some new phones. Surprise, surprise. So the new Samsung Galaxy phone, will it be a Samsung Galaxy 11? Apparently not. Uh,
S20.
Ooh, you're gonna have to listen to hear how amazing the camera is in the new one. Huawei also announcing a new phone this spring as well with some super cool features. I love Huawei stuff. I know there's a lot of controversy with them right now, but they have really been pushing the envelope when it comes to technology.
And it makes it better for everybody.
It does, because if they weren't here, I don't think we'd be seeing advancements happening as fast with the other guys, because they're keeping them competitive. So, John, I've got a Ring camera system at home,
So do I.
and I've talked about it a few times on the program, but I am loving it because it just works. Someone tried to break into one of my cars in my driveway last weekend, and so I didn't wake up for the notification. But the next day, I was able to go. I've got two Ring cameras. I got the video doorbell, and I've got one of those lights on top of the garage that
The
also has a built-in
the
camera,
floodlight.
the floodlight. And I got some amazing high definition video of these stupid punks. And it was actually weird because it was two of them, a dude. He was the one rifling through my car. I left one of them unlocked. Thank God I didn't have anything in there, but he made a mess.
At least he didn't break the door or the window.
Yeah, and his partner in crime, I guess his girlfriend, who just walked around my driveway while he was doing just on her phone. I don't- Like she,
On Instagram,
on Instagram, or she texting.
TikToking
Yeah.
the
Oh,
adventure.
hey, look, we're breaking into this car here. So what was fascinating about it is how quickly I was able to get that. I took that video, and remember that Nextdoor app that
Yeah.
we talked about. This is a fantastic app for knowing your neighbors and your neighborhood. It's like hyper local, so it's an app you can download for Android or iPhone, and you send out invites to your neighbors, which I thought was a little weird at first because I don't really know all my neighbors.
Did you go to their
Yeah,
house and knock
well,
on the
there's a,
door?
a bunch of different ways you can do emails and. But anyway, through the app, I actually got the ball rolling, and it really snowballed. People were really interested in getting connected
Yeah.
with their neighbors in their neighborhood. I mean, you can buy and sell things there. There's a security section, which I used. So I posted on there saying, hey, I got this video of these idiots breaking into my car. Be careful, keep things locked, and don't leave anything out. Anyway, I got such a huge response from it. And, then I put it on Facebook in a local community group too. And a number of other people had footage and they were able to get it to the police and they identified
Awesome.
these people. And one of them, I don't know how they got the name. I guess they found him on Facebook. And so he's got his profile on Facebook. And I'm just, I can't be 100% certain it's the guy, right? Because I want to write on his, timeline, you freaking, and I'm using the nice F word, idiots, I'm going to break your legs next time you go in my driveway. But it's interesting how quickly that can spread. And so I guess that's the good aspect of these security cameras.
So you went viral in your own neighborhood.
I went viral. But my God, these punks were all over. Like I live in South Surrey, White Rock, all over the peninsula. Like there were videos coming from everywhere.
They probably have a route that they take
Yeah.
every night.
Yeah. So, obviously we sent that off to the police, but I don't know what's going to happen. Are they anything going to happen to these people? You know what I like about Ring? They have a program down in the US called Ring Neighbors.
Yeah.
Hasn't come up in Canada yet, but you join this neighborhood app and it'll tie you in with everyone else's Ring cameras. I don't know how exactly it works, but I get the feeling that you'd be able to track someone
Yeah.
cruising down your street.
Well, and also it's good for law enforcement too to have that information.
Oh, yeah, that was the bad side of it.
Yeah.
Because law enforcement can go in and easily get access to it. I mean, it's good and bad, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's why you have it in the first place, is so you can catch somebody in the act, or you can let the FedEx guy know that you can drop the package. So it's good and bad. I don't see it being a bad thing having the law enforcement have access to those cameras. It's not like it's in your bedroom, right?
No.
It's shooting your driveway or your vehicles, and if they need to see something there, I have no problem giving them permission for that.
A lot of people are concerned about it.
Yeah.
Because it's setting up a police state from your front door.
I get that. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it, to be honest.
Yeah. When they start tracking the movements of the people inside,
Yeah.
the comings and goings, that's a different story. But maybe your neighborhood crime couple,
Yeah.
maybe they have a Ring doorbell as well, and the cops are watching them come and go.
It'll be interesting when, facial recognition is here. Like, can we tie that in?
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
that's the
next
scary
level.
sauce, though,
Yeah.
right? Like that's where people get really nervous,
Yeah.
right?
Like
But
if you had that aspect in with this Ring neighborhood app.
here's Johnny's Facebook profile.
Yeah. Hey, this guy tried to break into my car. And through facial recognition, if it could go to the other Ring doorbells and video cameras outside, you could like track people down super quickly, right?
Yeah.
I know that's the scary part.
Well, it depends on, it's an interesting technology. It can
Yeah.
be used for good and for bad.
Well, I just watched Terminator Dark Fate. That's the new Terminator movie. Mackenzie Davis, Canadian,
Yeah.
in there, by the way. And
Yeah.
Arnold, he's not Canadian.
And Linda.
And Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the lines in there was that it's a scary time right now because there's cameras everywhere and they're all connected. And the Terminator could basically, tap into that and find them instantly. And the Terminator continually found them through cameras, like CCTV cameras and people's web cameras.
Well, and that was kind of the premise of the Matrix, except the cameras were the people.
Yeah. So, yeah, from a Terminator perspective, this is not a great thing.
No.
Okay, we are going to have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a SIM card from Google that can get you unlimited data and talk and text for $70 US a month. Not totally available here in Canada, but we'll tell you a hack.
Yeah.
To make that happen. Graham has just joined us in our freezing studio. We actually record this show now from our office studio. And unfortunately, in the little area we're doing it, somehow the heat's not working. So this is during the...
Perfectly timed.
Yeah, it's like -8 out right now. And
It's hot in here.
yes.
You can probably see our breath if you watch the video podcast.
What's the temperature inside a Tauntaun? It's lukewarm.
Oh, that's so bad. And I feel bad for the people that...
Had to
Well,
listen.
actually, I feel good for the people that don't know what that reference was. Okay, I want to talk about cell phone plans. As always, the Canadian thing to do is complain about our cell phone plans.
Right.
I complain too because, doing a lot more traveling now, and my roaming bills are like astronomical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Roam Like Home on Rogers was something that they came out with, and it was $6 to use your plan when you went to certain countries like the United States. And I think it was 10 if you went to Europe.
Yeah.
And then it became $11 and $7. And now it's $12 and $8 for Europe and the United States, respectively.
But they also, like before, I think it maxed out at 10 days.
Yes.
And so if you used it for 10 days in Europe, for example, 10 times 10 days was $100.
Yeah.
Just maxed out. And if you were there for another 20 days, as long as you're in that calendar month, it was only that 10 days you were charged for.
Yes.
Now they've increased that to, I think, 15 days. Anyway, it's just not as economical as it was before.
No.
And it's convenient
Yes.
because you don't have to do anything for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got your number and everything.
Yeah.
So there's some math involved, right? Because you kind of look at it and you go, if there's a certain amount of days that I'm there, the $8 a day is worth it. You day trip down to Seattle, that's fine. I'm not going to change my number or whatever. But for those days where you go longer than that, suddenly we're looking for a solution.
So, a lot of great solutions here in Canada. Roam Mobility,
Mhm.
always on wireless. You guys found a vending machine when we were in the Las Vegas airport cooling our heels because our flight was 4 hours delayed because of the snowstorm into Vancouver. And yeah, it was a Google vending machine, and it had Google Fi, and it's spelled Fi SIM cards you could buy for what, $10?
Yeah, it was like $10 all in.
Yeah.
And you get a $10 credit when you activate it. So it's essentially free.
Okay, so it's a SIM card.
Yeah, it's just a SIM card.
Talk and text.
Talk and text is, they have two plans. They have a all-you-can-eat monthly plan, which is $70 US a month, or the flexible plan, which is $20 a month US for talk and text.
Unlimited.
Unlimited in that country.
Yeah.
But if you do long distance, there's a fee schedule
But it was pretty cheap.
It's very cheap. It's like less than 5 cents a minute.
Okay, before you continue, that works that works in all, like, a whole bunch of countries.
Tons of countries. Yeah, I don't
With no roaming fees.
Correct. Basically, it's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the interesting part about the flexible plan is you pay for your data in 1 gigabyte chunks for $10 US per chunk.
Yes, but that maxes out.
That maxes out after you've done six of those. So $60 of data. Then you're now in unlimited land when you can use up to 22 gigs at full 4G LTE speeds, and then they start throttling it down.
Okay, but that's a lot of data.
That's a lot of data.
Or you can get the unlimited,
Yeah,
everything for $70 US a month.
same thing though. It does max out at 22 gigs, and then it gets throttled.
I've got 50 gigs between 4 people split right now on Rogers, and we rarely go above the 20 gig mark between the 4 of us.
Yeah.
So that seems like a pretty decent plan.
So some caveats here.
There's a few. First of all, you can only get this in the U.S.
Yeah.
If you're using an iPhone, you actually have to have an American iTunes account
Okay.
to download the app.
Okay.
If you're on Android, again, you have to have an American Google Play Store account. But as Steven, one of our producers, and I discovered, you can sideload the app, no problem. There's Google for finding that stuff. And the neat thing about this is that nowadays, when we have eSIMs in availability or dual SIM slots, you can have this sitting alongside your Rogers, your Kudo, your
You can have
Telus.
both of them in there at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask some questions here. You've got to buy this in the US. You also have to activate it in the US.
That's right.
You have to be across the border.
That's right. So they actually said right on the vending machine, activate this before you leave the airport. Because that way it knows you're in the US and you can get provisioned a number. If you have a US cell phone plan, you can actually port your number as well.
But if you're Canadian, you
If you're Canadian, you'll just get a new number and you can actually pick your area code where you want to have it.
So we could do like Washington State.
Yeah. I think Steven did Hawaii.
And why wouldn't you? Okay, but could I buy this, activate it down there, and then just use it in Canada all the time?
Apparently so.
They're not going to cut it off?
We haven't found any examples of that yet. Steven activated his right at the airport. And the neat thing about the flexible plan is you can actually pause it.
Oh.
So, and the really neat thing that we found is so say you're in Vegas for a week like we were, you're done, you're at the airport, you're going home, you can hit pause. And then when you come back to Canada, you're only billed for a prorated amount.
What? Oh,
Steven just handed us his smartphone to show us that his data has been paused. The other really interesting thing that we discovered that we were not expecting, it is literally twice as fast as any provider we've used. At the Las Vegas airport, Steven did a speed test with we were using AT&T and I was using T-Mobile, and it was, okay speed. Then he did the speed test and it was twice as fast, upload and download. He came back to Canada, he ran another speed test at YVR, and it was still twice as fast. We don't know what provider they're using in Canada, but I want to be on that provider.
So this is kind of interesting because, as Canadians, we're hearing from the federal government that prices have to come down another 25%. That includes all of the recent plans that have happened.
How are they going to do that?
Well, I don't know. Rogers had something like $8 billion in profit last year.
I know, but how does a government go into a free market economy and to a business? Hey, dudes, you got to lower your price.
It might have something to do with the fact that your taxes and my taxes built the 4G LTE networks that they're currently using. They gave the money to these providers.
These are public companies. If
Yeah.
the government makes them reduce costs in one thing,
Yeah.
they will find somewhere else to make up that.
Absolutely. You can do that. You can find other ways to make that profit by offering other profitable services. But Canadians are sick and tired of their wireless rates being so darned high. We've seen so many studies. In the last year, I've become a little less annoyed with them, right? It feels like I'm actually getting a decent value when I see things like the 15 days for roam like home, and when I see things like the $6 to $7 to $8. Yeah, you're starting to get my hackles up just a little bit. So I'm actually on the side of the federal government saying, hey, fellas, profit's a wonderful thing, but if you keep it up, I'm going to go with Google Fi.
So this works in Canada, you're saying, John?
Yes,
So you could switch to this as your plan. However, you've got a US number.
that's correct.
Which is a little dirty feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just pick a nice state.
yeah. 90210. That's what I'm going to do.
Yes.
902.
That's going to be my area code.
Google Fi. Again, only available in the US. You got to buy it down there. You got to activate it down there.
Yeah.
And you've got to have an American iTunes or
Yeah, but
Google
those
Play
are all
account.
easy to get, and you can actually use Google or Apple Pay to pay for it, so you don't even have to have an American credit card.
Slick.
Okay, I'm interested to see you guys try this out. Are you going to actually do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this could be your primary.
I don't know if it'd be my primary.
Why? Because you don't want an American number?
Yeah, I like my number. I've had it for like ever.
604 represent.
Yeah.
Okay, when we come back from the break here in the App Show, we're going to be talking about the folding things. There are all kinds of crazy new laptops and phones and tablets that have bendy foldable screens. How will that change the way we buy and use these? There's some fascinating stuff. Stay tuned. Later on in the program, we'll be talking about some of the rumored smartphones coming out. Well, they are coming out, so we've got some of the details on those. The new Samsung Galaxy phone and the new Huawei phone. Pretty excited about those. Let's talk about Foldy. We were down in the Las Vegas Consumer Electronics Show last week, and what really surprised me was the amount of folding screen devices that were coming out this year. So we've seen them in some of the early smartphones here now from Samsung, the Galaxy Fold, the Huawei Mate X, and there is a whole bunch of these things coming out that I think are even a better form factor.
And that's it. I think the first generation of folding phones felt very much like a first generation of folding phones, where it's like, wow, that's a cool tech. I'm not sure I would have released that, but good on you for doing it.
Yeah.
This next generation, though, I looked at and went, ooh, you guys are actually onto something here.
The different form factors, I think, is the key point.
Yeah.
And we got to see a bunch of them in Las Vegas that we were all drooling over. And the poor rep that was letting us play with them is like, I have to take those back.
I think some interesting ones for me would be from Lenovo.
Yes.
So they own Motorola now. And so we've talked about this. The Motorola flip phone, the Razr, is coming back as a folding screen phone. We had our chance to get our hands on this. So go to our website. I think we'll post a video of this.
It was so much better than I was expecting.
I know. I want one.
Yeah.
I haven't said that about an Android phone for a long time.
This is a bit of nostalgia I can actually get behind because it does look like the technology is there. My biggest problem with the folding phones from last year was it felt like the hinges were an afterthought. right?
And they felt like very heavy.
yeah, and
They were big. They're big.
the hinge mechanism on this thing, like, first of all, one, you get to feel like Captain Kirk when you flip it open.
Yes.
Awesome. And secondly, that hinge mechanism felt so buttery smooth.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of moving parts on cell phones anymore, but that one was like, you guys have done the work here.
I think the big thing, though, guys, the size. The Samsung and the Huawei's, their phones turning into tablets.
Yes.
There is like a heft to those things. The Motorola Razr was an actual phone size.
It was palmable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when it's closed, it's wider than the original
Yeah.
Razr. No question. But still, it was a lot. You could fit that in your pocket so easy now.
What I also really liked about it is when you folded it and closed it, you actually had the good rear camera on the front
Yes.
with a really nice display to take the perfect selfie photos.
Yeah, really, really neat way of designing
Yeah.
it at that point.
And they had a bunch of gestures, so you could actually turn on the flashlight, and you can do other things with it that you can all set in the settings as well, with just shaking it different ways and rotating it and that kind of thing, which I thought was pretty clever as well.
So that was the one from Lenovo. They also had a laptop.
The Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Fold.
Is it a laptop? Is it a tablet?
Okay.
Is it the future?
It's the lablet.
Can I
know.
tell you why?
Lablet.
Thank you.
Can I tell you why I love that thing? Because it was small.
Yeah.
And so you open it up and it's one giant screen.
Yeah.
So on the keyboard part, there's two ways to do it. You could either use a soft touchscreen keyboard like on an iPad.
Yeah.
Or it comes with a physical keyboard as well that kind of just slides on top of that. So you can use it like a regular keyboard laptop. But what was the best part of that? You could basically fold that thing out flat, and it's got like a little hinge on the back, and stand it up on the desk. You'd have that little physical keyboard, and then you've got a big screen.
Yeah, the little kickstand on the back and then the wireless keyboard was genius.
This is probably the closest I've seen to something that feels like Star Trek technology since the iPad. This, like, the whole thing folds together really nicely. It had a nice, was it a leather finish on the outside?
Yeah.
And the way the keyboard slid into it, I was like, again, when it comes to engineering, finally someone's doing the work, and Lenovo was kind of knocking it out of the park on this.
It felt like a decent sized notebook,
Yeah.
right? Like not a book,
Yeah.
but like a notebook that you would have under your arm, that had all, everything you needed, and it could be as big as you needed it to be at a moment's notice.
I would feel comfortable walking into a meeting with this, which when I look at a lot of the other, transforming tablets, I'm like, you just seem like something that IT shoved at me. This actually feels like something I would go out and buy and feel proud to walk into a meeting room with.
Yeah.
But so the big thing for me, though, is that it's basic. You turn it. I mean, you can use it in so many different ways,
Yeah.
right? You can lay it flat, and it's a tablet. You can still have it folding and use it like a laptop. But the best part for me was like folding it right out with that stand.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a flat screen monitor.
A big, beautiful screen.
A big one. And so that was a smaller one, but it folded out to a nice size. There were bigger models as
Yeah.
well of other folding laptops from other manufacturers that turned it into like a giant 17-inch screen, but folded in like into a nice compact package.
Yeah, we're starting to see, again, this idea of the portable lifestyle, kind of a resurgence in that space.
My only concern with all of these flexible displays is the durability.
Yeah.
We just don't know yet.
Right.
Well, and again, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of moving parts where you don't need them. The unibody MacBook Pro, you've got all of this made out of milled aluminum. You're not worried about all the pieces that connect together. It's sexy, it's strong. So we'll see if, again, that engineering continues all the way through. Do we have time to talk about the TCL?
Yes, we have to. So
Yeah.
TCL, Chinese manufacturer, you might know of them from the TVs. They're the number one TV manufacturer in North America now, or sales anyway. They make them in China. So they're getting big into phones.
Yes.
And so they had a tri-fold flexible screen phone. And I got to be honest, that was probably the best implementation of a folding screen that I've seen yet for a phone that turns into a tablet.
That looks like a Rand McNally map.
Yeah, it does fold out like an old style map.
Or like a brochure.
A brochure.
Yeah.
And you'd said this earlier, John, that the thing that you liked about it was the fact that when you folded it up, you actually had a back to the
Yes.
device.
Yes.
Right? Because we've
Yeah.
seen that in the past where you're either folding the phone in, you're folding the phone out. It always kind of feels weird as to what's going on with the back of this thing.
Yeah.
This felt like a real phone.
Yeah, you don't want glass on the back and the front
Yeah.
when it's all folded up. So it's nice that it was actually something you wouldn't feel concerned about putting it down on something, getting it scratched or that type of thing.
No.
So
There was some thickness to this.
yes.
Yeah, it's a trifold. Yeah.
Tis a girthy phone.
Yes.
But I mean, that said, when you fold it out, you can't fit that kind of tablet into your pocket. You can with this. And again, you're probably wearing cargo pants at that point, but still it's a it's a decent sized screen for the amount of pocket space it
We're going
takes
to
up.
see new pants from the Gap that'll be shaped like the trifold.
thick pockets.
The
for
90s
Gap.
are back again.
That's right.
Cargo pants are in. Let's do
So my
this.
question to you: you've seen the phones that turn into tablets, Samsung, Huawei, now TCL. This again was a prototype.
Yes. A lot of these things we saw were prototypes.
Out of those three, which form factor do you think was the best?
The TCL, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, like out of the three, I'd pick the fourth. I'd pick the Motorola.
Yeah. The
That's-
Motorola was lust-worthy.
Because the rest of them need to go on a diet. They're all too big for,
Yeah.
the hip skinny jeans that I wear.
Well, it was interesting when we were at the Lenovo. They had an area. It was like a restaurant in the Venetian, and we did the interview with the Lenovo guy there, and we did it outside in the main walkway, and we had a crowd.
Yeah.
We were mobbed.
We were
People
mobbed.
wanting to grab it while we were doing the interview.
There was a Korean
John-
reporter that they had to slap his wrist away.
Yeah.
No, John was slapping him. Yeah, John was pushing people away because while I was doing the interview with the Lenovo man, people were reaching their hand in to try to grab the phone off the little table that we were doing the demo on.
The thing that I loved most about the particular device was it harkened back to the handspring trio, the old Palm days, where you had a nice small form factor. You had a satisfying click when you would close it.
Yep.
And it just felt great in the hand.
Yeah.
You could totally one-hand the whole thing.
Okay, talking about smartphones, when we come back from the next break, we've got some rumors about the new Samsung Galaxy phone and the Huawei P40. Don't forget to hit our website. We are giving away an awesome prize, Amazon Echo Show 8. This is an Alexa device. It's a touchscreen smart speaker, and it's got an 8-inch touchscreen. This thing could be in the kitchen, the family room. You could use it as your clock radio on your nightstand as well. It listens to your voice, and you can watch videos on it, Prime Video, YouTube. It's got Skype built into it. It is freaking amazing. Go to our website to enter to win this, www.getconnectedmedia.com. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you're entered to win. Plus, you're entered in to win all the contests this year, and we are giving away thousands of dollars in prizes. We're going to talk about some cool new smartphones coming out. Samsung will be releasing their next Galaxy phone, and Huawei rumored to be releasing their Huawei P40 phone. And it's always interesting how you find out about these rumors. Apple's usually pretty good at keeping it down, but the Android guys, not so much.
No,
And it's usually from the case makers.
case manufacturers. Here, take a look at this amazing new thing. You won't believe where the camera is. Oh, God. Yeah, we will.
So, big one, Samsung. Coming out, this should be the Samsung Galaxy 11, but no.
No, the rumor is it's going to be the S20.
S20.
They're jumping
Well,
numbers.
It makes sense because it can get a little confusing as far as numbers and things like that go, especially when their competition is in a similar numbering schedule. And so I guess the 20 is 2020.
Well, and here's the other thing as well, is their competition isn't just Apple anymore. It's also Huawei. And Huawei just released the, I believe it was the P20, right?
No, P30 was last year.
P30, yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about it in a minute, the P40.
So you got to be somewhere where people aren't.
Yes.
Right?
I want the 20. The Galaxy 20? No, the Huawei 20. I don't know.
The Galaxy S20. So the Plus is supposed to be even bigger than the S10 Plus. So taller, skinnier, and
An interesting aspect ratio too.
20 by 9?
19:9 aspect ratio.
19 by 9.
Yeah.
Isn't it 20?
The
By
S10
9?
was 19 by 9.
Oh, sorry,
This
the
is
S10,
20 by
yes.
Yeah, 20
Right.
by 9.
20:9.
Yeah, so we're almost getting to the 21 by 9 aspect ratio that you will see in ultra wide screen monitors if you do a lot of gaming or if you do some high performance stuff as far as graphic design. So that's been a big thing of late.
We saw those at the Samsung booth.
Yeah. Now this is the question that I have right now is when was the last time you looked at the top of your phone and you thought I wish that was further away from my thumb?
Unless you get one of those super long, weird thumbs.
It's the new Galaxy thumb. It's actually gonna snap onto the top of your thumb. It's interesting because like the iPhone has a cool reachability mode where you can sort of swipe down on the bar at the bottom of the screen and it brings half the screen down. Because if you are of average thumb length, you're not hitting the top of that screen without some sort of thumb acrobatics. We've talked a lot about thumbs. Let's move on.
So the camera, apparently 108 megapixels? Is that? I don't know. That's what they're saying.
Needs more
online.
megapixels.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, yeah. Gonna need a lot more memory. for that too. But megapixels don't always tell the whole story, though.
No, it's always about the sensors and how the software in the operating system processes those photos. So, and to be honest, Samsung's always been very impressive in the camera department. So if they think they need 108 megapixels, let's see what you got.
But it's kind of an interesting one, right? Because again, you're looking at file size, right? So you're going to need more space on your phone. Those pictures become very, very large, which means that you're going to need more RAM to deal with them, which brings us to our next point on this thing. There is a rumor that it has 12 gigabytes of RAM.
Yes.
Right. So the iPhone 11, I believe, the 11 Pro has, is it 4? The iPhone 11 Pro Max is 6, somewhere around there.
Something.
People have kind of stopped caring about it because it's just, you no longer have that situation where your apps are shutting down. But you can imagine if you're producing these massive media files and you've got a bigger screen display, maybe you do need a little bit more RAM to work with.
Well, and we saw last year with the Samsung Note line, they were going all in on having this device as being where you create all your content now from a video perspective.
Mhm.
So all the YouTube creators and Instagrammers and all those type of people need a device that has the horsepower so they can do it on the go and post literally in real time.
So this device has that, or at least we're alleging that it will.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So Huawei coming out with the P40 Pro and the P40 in the springtime. That's the next rumor we're talking about. This thing's got apparently 5 cameras on it, because why not? Get more cameras on
Gillette's calling and going, I think we have a patent on that.
there. But also, what kind of operating system will it be running?
This is the big question, especially with all of the recent trade talks and reports in.
Yeah, will the US and China have settled their issues in time for this to be running the Google version of Android, or will they be running their own version of Android,
The Harmony OS.
the Harmony OS?
I got my money on Harmony, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you're looking at Huawei, you've already put the money and the time and the effort into this. If you have the ability to load the Google Play Store on at some other point, great. But if you're now in charge of your own kernel, you're now in charge of your own operating system, you're not really beholden to, one, Google, or two, if someone like the president of the United States right now is actually got their hand on your throat as a business, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
And I've said many times on the program that I'm excited to see the Harmony OS in action because it's another player that's going to help force Google to up their game, because in Android land, they're the only game in town.
Is that going to make it more complicated, though, for app developers?
It's hard to say.
It shouldn't do. I mean, again, if it is that core of Android at the heart of
Yeah.
it, which is an open source project, and it should be, then you shouldn't have that kind of problem. That said, I mean, anytime that we do fragment the Android marketplace, there are problems. So it's really going to be up to Huawei and Google to negotiate that, or for users to go in with their eyes open, knowing that if you buy something with Harmony, it may not work with the Google apps that you love.
Okay, we're going to have to take another break. When we come back, we will be hearing about John's favorite app of the week. It's kind of cool.
It's very cool.
It's very cool. Don't forget to hit the contest page, which is actually our newsletter subscription page. We're giving away an Amazon Echo Show 8 digital touchscreen Alexa display device. That's a mouthful, but this thing does everything. It's like awesome. You subscribe to our newsletter
By filling in the form.
and you will be entered into all of our contests this year. Thousands of dollars in prizes. It's that time. It's John's app pick of the week. What do you got?
This week, I've got Mini Watch Games 24-in-1. It's a mouthful,
Okay.
but use that search term on the Apple App Store.
Mhm.
It's only available for Apple. This is a really cool set of 24 retro-inspired games that you can play on your iPhone, but it also comes with 24 games you can play on your
Oh.
Apple Watch.
Oh.
And they are so much fun. They're all like, like Frogger and those kinds of games where it's a fairly simple move around,
your
jump
watch?
on your watch. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're so great. There's 24 of them. You can play them on either device. It's only $3 to buy, and they just have so much, bright colors, super fun gameplay, and the perfect thing.
Do I see Space Invaders? on
Yes.
this?
Do see Space
Yeah.
Invaders there.
And
Yeah.
Breakout and Pong.
Yep.
Take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money. And I
Yeah.
can play this on my Apple Watch.
You can play this on your watch.
How much?
$3.
Oh, that's a steal.
Yeah.
There goes productivity.
Space Invaders on my Apple Watch.
Yes.
Those
And
are tiny little Space Invaders.
it's actually pretty great. Actually,
it?
Yeah.
And you just use your finger?
Well, use your finger, or you can use the
Scroll?
The scroll. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
And again, it's called.
It's Mini Watch Games 24-in-1.
That's all the time we have left for the app show. Don't forget to listen to our sister show every week, Get Connected, Saturdays on Global News Radio, CKNW 980, and across the Chorus Radio Network, Saturdays at 10 Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you again next time. Thanks, John and Graham and Stephen, for helping put this all together. Bye now.